Hello and welcome back to another special episode of Oxygen Not Included. So a few things happened recently. One is I took the vent off of my air conditioning duct in my room, and it's no longer making as much noise as it was, or at least it's not making noise at the same frequency that it was. So now I'm able to filter out the air conditioning noise without too much noticeable change in quality on the audio recording. So that's awesome. And then number two is I bought a router. And I just finished setting that up, and that's part of the reason why I'm recording this video, is because I want to test the upload speeds to YouTube. So I need something to upload. I could, just upload one of my other videos and then delete it, but I figured, why not update you on this new base? So this asteroid I named Salty Pirate. The reason why is because it's the ocean world. It's the second one on the list. I figured I'd venture out and try to see what the other asteroids had to offer, since I've gotten a little bit more experience with the game. So you can notice one thing in particular is the size of the base is very limited. It's kind of a small, tight, cramped space that I will be trying to make the best of until such a time as I deem ready to venture out into the hotter parts of this asteroid. Now, this isn't like a special desert asteroid. There are some of those, like there's a magma one and then like a desert climate one. And this is not like that at all. There's no special heat attributes. It's just that the salt water needs to be desalinated before you can do anything with it. And that can be a bit of a pain because it does take a lot of power. But with that in mind, there's plenty of water as long as you can desalinate it. And the side effect is you have salt that you can use for, I think, just table salt for now. I'm not sure what other uses salt has, but I'll find out. Anyway, but you'll notice all these insulated tiles that are ready to be constructed whenever my duplicates gain access to them. Oh, this is the wrong overlay. Okay, so first things first is I dug into this chamber here, and as you can see, the temperature from this caustic biome is leaking into this open area, and so I immediately, as soon as I could, I built this. As soon as I noticed it, at least, I built this insulated tile here. And the reason for that is to keep the heat on the other side. And then I realized, well, if I dig out in any distance in any direction, I'm going to end up, especially like say here, for example, I'm going to end up, drawing a lot of heat into the base. So what I did was I drew out a perimeter of insulated tiles, and then my theory, my current plan, is to give a little space, maybe 4 or 5 tiles out, and then do another one exactly like it. And then I'm going to set up a series of pumps, maybe 2 or 3 pumps would probably do it, and an airlock, and basically I want to create a vacuum. I want to create insulated tiles, vacuum, and then insulated tiles again, so that no heat transfer takes place whatsoever from the outside biomes into my inner base. And that's where I'll do all my farming. As far as duplicants comfort, it's not really that much of a concern. The issue is, as soon as the temperature reaches above 86 degrees Fahrenheit, then your plants can no longer grow. And, maybe if you got pinch of pepper plants going or something like that, you'll be fine. But I don't really want to deal with that. I want to keep the heat out, and I want to keep this nice green, comfortable inner temperature, and then I can even set it up kind of like an air conditioning thermostat once I venture out and find, I think there's once I find a cold biome, I can bring in cold water and kind of store it nearby or even inside the base, and only pump it into radiant pipes throughout the base when the temperature goes above a certain temperature limit. And that's exactly how a thermostat works. You set it to 75 degrees. It becomes 76, and click. It turns on your air conditioning unit and cools it until it reaches 75 again. And that's how it works. So yeah. So we're going to set up something like that so we can keep it temperature controlled to a very specific temperature. The only reason why I want to do that is because I can. I want to know that I can control it to that degree. And so yeah, this space is starting to look pretty nice. Let's introduce the duplicants. So we started with D0001. Sorry, D001. Yes, you're starting to notice a pattern. Oh no. Let's rename you before you develop a personality. Okay, D005. Hey, that didn't update. Why not? Interesting. That's a bit of a bug, isn't it? Okay, well, I'm glad I got it on recording because it's easier to send to the developers that way. Because this screen is showing her name with a personality and everything, and we don't want that. We want these people to be numbers. I don't know why I went for that decision, but this is the naming scheme that I will continue with on this asteroid, and I just want to get to know them based on their hat mostly. So I just felt like being a little bit dark and jaded, you know, whatever. Okay, so skills. You are a builder. Construction 11. Awesome sauce. Okay. And then we have our scientist, obviously based on his hat. Science is 12. Not much else. Okay. D003. You're kind of an all-around athletics of 7. Means plus 70% run speed. And let's see your interests. Wait. It doesn't show the interests on this screen. But he has interests. And I think suit wearing is one of them, which is why I think I picked him. Then we have our rancher, I believe. D004. Husbandry of 9. A couple other decent skills, nothing special. And yes, so she's our rancher. And we have D005. Became our latest dupe, and she also is a high athletics of 10, so plus 100% run speed. So those two that have high athletics don't have a specific specialization, but they are good all around as far as how quickly they can move. And as you know, how quickly they move it determines a lot of things. How quickly something gets built, how quickly something gets supplied, how something gets cleaned up or switched on or off, things like that. So it's very, very helpful for them to have a high athletics. And something I read is that someone with a high enough athletics, I'm not sure what the cutoff is, can in fact climb a plastic ladder faster than they can be sent through a transit tube. So that's something to keep in mind. I'd like to kind of do some tests at some point, maybe arrange a race for the duplicants to kind of race each other up some climb and see if they can't, arrive faster via the ladder and maybe determine what that cutoff is. Or maybe it's online somewhere, so I don't have to do that work. But yeah, so this base is starting to look pretty cool. This is going to be my kind of, my latest and greatest, most organized base. It's not that organized now, but we do have a few fancy features. We have our ration boxes stored in a sterile atmosphere. We just trapped a little bit of CO2 down here, and hopefully it'll stay. I had an issue on the most recent base. The CO2 got mixed with polluted oxygen. I think it was something, some food rotted, and then it off-gassed polluted oxygen, and that's not good. But I put a park sign here because they're going in here every single day to get food. Later on, once I get pips, I'm going to try to find out how I can have the pips plant more plants into the ground. I need soft tiles like these algae tiles. before the pips will plant the seeds. But I think there's a way to do that. I read somewhere and then forgot about it. But yeah, so we'll look at the rooms. We have a park set up, and I really would prefer this to be a nature reserve. Now, why does it look so silly like this? That's because this room size was too big and I needed to limit it. Now it's too small, but that's not a problem. They can still get in here, climb down, get food, and climb back out. And so we have plumbed bathrooms. That's something that I hadn't even set up yet on the other map. If you're, watching along. So these bathrooms are set up, full plumbed, isolated. As you can see, this is not connected here. The 2 reservoirs is not necessary, but it's for my own comfort. I don't know. If I ever add more water into this system, the reservoirs might become necessary, but at the moment they are not. Yeah, I guess I didn't set up the other ones yet, but I need more lavatories than that. But that room is a full washroom, so they're getting +2 instead of +1, which is awesome. Once this room is complete, this will be a mess hall, and as you can see with the recreational building here, this will eventually become a great hall. I think these things are going to end up getting moved. All these stations will get moved away so that I can make this a maximum size, which is 120. Great hall. We have a barracks set up, and one person is sleeping outside of the barracks. That would probably be D0. Oh no, 3 people are sleeping outside the barracks, so I can get 2 of them in here. But yeah, they're clearing this out, and this is also going to be a nature reserve as well. There are plenty of plants in here, and so I'm going to keep this preserved. I don't have a plan yet as to how the dupes are going to be forced to visit this park. I gotta run some tests or look it up, but I'm not sure yet if they'll just go to the park for fun on their downtime if you give them enough time to do so. But either way, I want them. I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll put the airlock like over here somewhere, so that in order to get to the airlock, they have to go through this nature reserve, and then they'll get the +6 bonus that comes out of this. But for now, they're just digging out what's left of the inner core of the base and finishing up the insulated walls where they can find them. And some of the walls they can't reach, so I'll have to be going through and setting up the walls, or giving them access to those walls in various different ways. But once this room is completed, it'll be a mess hall. And then also, I did realize something kind of cool is I've had a lot of water tank breakthroughs, such as like this wall, for example, is built of sand, which has a hardness of 2. And this is fertilizer, which also has a hardness of 2, as well as algae does as well. And I thought because it was so soft, and in fact, one of the YouTubers that plays this game described it that way, that because the material is very soft, it breaks through. But that is not the case. Or, don't take my word for it, but it doesn't seem to be the case. The sand, when on a vertical wall, holds this water in no problem. As you can see, there's 3 tiles of sand here, and I would think, because this was more full at one point, I would think that water would have pushed through the sand and spilled out down here if that were the case. But no. The only time that the breakthrough happens, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but if I dig this sandstone tile, the sand on top of it will fall. Just like this sand is accumulated down here, for the same reason. It was on top of something that got dug out, and then it fell down. So if I did that here, if I dig this sandstone tile, this sand will fall, and this reservoir will leak out. but not sideways, not horizontally, only vertically. So that's interesting. And I'm not sure if it affects fertilizer, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it break through algae. So, you know, your mileage may vary. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit. But yeah, that's the base. And this is more of a test video than anything else. But I am going to upload it. And thanks for watching. And have a great day.